Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. Going to keep this really, really short tonight because I've seen, oh, there I'm going. I'm pushing over to my other channels. Got this really cool software that allows me to do that. Let's see if I can find this here really, really quick because I thought it was very interesting, and I wanted to share this with you because when you're prospecting, especially if you're new and you're not quite sure how to respond to somebody, and maybe you just don't have a lot of business experience in dealing with people and working with people. First of all, I'm going to say this, and one of the cool pleasures that I had in one of my past careers, want to call them jobs, was selling advertising. And in selling advertising, I did it for about 5 years. I'll do roughly 105, 110, 115 dollars a day, and made a nice six-figure income doing it. No complaints. I was a 9 to 5 job, Monday through Friday, making phone calls, making six figures. Very, very cool. For those of you that never made six figures, you work for six figures and you take home a medium 5 figures after taxes. It's ridiculous. So having a home-based business is a real good way to get some of that back. I thought I'd throw it in as a pro tip. So wanted to share this with you, and I read this. I'm going to read this to you so you can understand the context. The reason I was saying that, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Forrest Knight. I'm a social media marketing strategist. I love helping people succeed online, on a mission to have no more empty refrigerators. Absolutely excited to be able to do that. So when you're prospecting, when you're reaching out to people, when you're knocking on doors, you're going to encounter some knuckleheads. And when I say knuckleheads, I mean a true knucklehead, a bloviated blowfish knucklehead. And you need to know how to respond to them. Sometimes saying nothing is usually the best way. If you're me, sometimes I love to come guns a-blazing just because, well, I like doing it every now and then just to get it off my chest. And I want you to think about this. So I'm going to read this to you, right? I'm going to read this to you. So one of our members in the inner circle coaching group, she says, this is the prospect. She reached out to him. Awesome. I appreciate your information. Thanks for sharing. That we offer is not only for individuals, companies use them, very successful as well. Let me know if you're open to taking a look at what we do. Take care and be safe, right? So I guess there was a little bit of a prior conversation of that. Oh my God. I'm not going to talk about this. Just got a message about a bunch of people getting shot in Chicago. Yes, we represent, and he replies back, yeah, we represent some of the largest SaaS companies on the planet. I'd be happy to hear you out, but I don't take calls for free. This gets better. Willing to make a real-time deposit for my time. I'd be happy to hear you out. If not, I can't help you. Sort of odd. So she replies back, pay, ? I'm asking if you're in need of any that can help you. She blacked it out. I'm not sure what it was. Can help the business you represent. If that's not something you're interested in, no worries. I have others to help follow up with. I wish you the continued success. Now here's where the bloviated blowfish part of this comes in. He replies back, you think the CEO of a company, I wish I could do this in my Jack Black voice, company that has a $32 million evaluation is going to take time of their day after you messaged me with cold outreach, delivered zero value, didn't have a funnel, a webinar, anything, and schedule a call with you so you can pitch me on a software? Do you see the names I represent? Sweetheart, you are in for a rude awakening. Follow up with your goofball prospects. Take care. I'm like, so here's my honest. I'm going to read exactly how I reply to this guy if he sent that to me. This is my reply. Now, this may be out of whack, but this is me. I'm sorry. This is the forced reply. You might want to just blow him off, not reply at all, just block him and move on. But sometimes when I see a bloviated blowfish that's full of sugar, honey, and iced tea, I'm going to go guns a-blazing. So this is my reply. LOLOLOL, comma, I got your sweetheart, comma, bye, Felicia. Then I'm going to wait 60 minutes and I'm going to block him. And I don't care what he says out of that, because he isn't the CEO of Do Dot Diddly Poop. He's some wannabe social media goofball. It's just ridiculous. So you've got to understand, CEOs of companies don't say crazy crap like that, right? Some knucklehead, probably sitting in his pajamas watching reruns of Seinfeld, is probably going to reply like that. A CEO, even a regional director, somebody that's in that position, I know, because when I sold advertising, knocking on doors and telephones and getting past the gatekeeper and talking to these people, 99.99, I'm going to say all of them, are very, very appreciative, because they're in a hustle. They're not going to walk around bloviating and talking about how they're $32 million, blah, 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 and I'm the CEO of this, and I do that. This is the second or third message I've read that people are doing that. They don't say that kind of crazy mess. They don't go there. A CEO, if he truly is a CEO, and I'm saying this, and I haven't met one that wouldn't say this yet, appreciate you reaching out, appreciate your hustle, glad you reached out to me. What I'll do is I'll give you my secretary or administrative assistant or whatever they're called nowadays, contact information. I would love to hear what you got, if they're interested. I'd love to hear what you got to say. Here's my receptionist information, see if we can get on the calendar. And they would give, that's how they would respond, right? If you think about a CEO's position of a corporation that's a $32 million corporation, and somehow you made it past all their gatekeepers and are just happen to be, how many CEOs do you know that are on freaking Facebook, for starters? Right? They're not. They're running a company. Now, some of their minions may be on Facebook. Some of their assistants may be on Facebook. Maybe even some of their area directors may be on Facebook. But if they're the CEO of a company, they're not. Not a $32 million company CEO is on Facebook doing anything, unless it's his personal profile. For some reason, he wants to be out there to just present the family thing and be the family front. He still wouldn't say that, right? He'd say, appreciate your hustle, appreciate you reaching out. Wish I had more people like you that were knocking on doors trying to drum up business. They would compliment you on your approach. And they might say, I'm not interested, or yeah, I'd like to see what you got, because most of the time, most CEOs, most of those people are so used to being pitched on a daily basis. When I was the internet sales manager for a multi dealership, matter of fact, is most recently, every day I would get 3 or 4 vendors coming knocking on my door. Hey, can you blah, 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 doing their pitch. And I would usually just say, hey, I don't have time right now, or give me a card, I'll call you, or whatever, because been there, done that, seen that. And that was just me being like the not in charge person, but you never were rude to them. I may ask them a couple of questions, or I may schedule an appointment, or I may say, hey, send me some information, and I'll take a look at it. But it wasn't about being rude. It wasn't about being some goofball, nutball, talking about some kind of crazy stuff like this knucklehead was talking about, right? So I wanted to share that with you. If you're new and you're prospecting and somebody says something ridiculous like that, just do a timeout. You don't have to respond like I did. I mean, that's me. I can do that because I got the skills, and I really don't care, whatever. The guy may come back guns a-blazing. I don't care. I'm not going to respond after that. But sometimes I'd like to put people in check and basically call them out on their sugar, honey, and iced tea when they're there. And I'll, block them and move on. And it's really crazy that somebody would say something like that. You might just get a message like that and just say bye and just end it, right? There's no reason to really fight and do that kind of stuff. I'm not suggesting that you get into a big battle with somebody, but I just want you to be aware that if somebody comes back with a crazy reply like this, well, I've got a $6 million, well, I'm a 6-figure income earner, and they don't do that. People that are seasoned, that are professionals, they're not going to come there. It might be some low level salesperson who just happened to be lucky enough to earn a 6-figure income, that has no kind of leadership skills couldn't lead their way to the bathroom if they're peeing in their pants, right? They wouldn't have a clue on how to do that. So very, very important that you understand And there's some awesome leadership books out there. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by Maxwell. If you read that book, you'll understand the concept of where most CEOs are coming from. 360-Degree Leader by Maxwell, another really good book. When you're reading that and understanding, those will probably help you communicate if you happen to run into a CEO. If you do happen to run into somebody from that caliber that's worked and hustled. CEOs just don't, they're not just like you don't have an egg CEO and like it's sitting on and nurtured and boom, out pops the CEO. Most CEOs start somewhere in the basement and work their way up through the ranks, and they've had the same hustle that you have of knocking on doors and building businesses and working relationships and doing a little bit of politics here and there, or whatever it is, to work their way to the top of a business. They did some hustle. Our CEO of our company was the #1 producer in his company for years. He worked his way up from day one. He didn't have a downline. He didn't have a team. He started with 0 people and hustled his butt off to be one of the top income earners in the world in the industry in 10 years and did $110 million in sales. And by himself as an independent rep for the company he's with, right? So I know he wouldn't say that to somebody if you reached out to him. He would probably turn around and say, hey, I really appreciate you reaching out. Looks like you got a good hustle. You want to come work for me, right? You want to come work on my team. He'd turn it around on you and at least give an opportunity for a good person that's out there in the hustle working to say, hey, come and work for me. I wanted to share that with you. If you run into goofballs like this, just don't spend a lot of time on them. Don't argue with them. And if you say if you want to pull a Forrest on them and LOL them and tell them bye Felicia, that'll probably be okay. Just block them and move on and enjoy your day. So wanted to share that with you. Hope it brought some value to you. Go out and prospect. The moral of this training is don't get hung up on one person, right? Don't spend a lot of time. Sometimes you'll get thrown in a loop like, what am I supposed to do with this? The cool thing about it, sometimes you just let it sit. Just let it sit there and go reach out to some people and somebody else, and who knows, your answer may come back to them later. Just let them sit there. The world's not going to come to an end if you don't reply to them immediately, especially if they're being jerks, right? Sometimes you just let it sit and don't reply at all. It's probably the best way to go about that, in all honesty. So just go out and reach out to a bunch of other people and become your own CEO and treat people nice and respect people and don't ever tout your credentials about how you're somebody doing something with somebody. So yeah, don't become them. Absolutely, Cheryl. Don't become them. Just love people and remember this. Usually when somebody replies like that, they're operating from a position of desperation. They're operating from a position of lack. They're operating from a position of fear. They're throwing up defenses. They've got this whole ego, self-esteem deal going on. They got a lot of issues. They got a lot of work that they need to do when they reply like that. They've got a lot of stuff that they need to overcome. So sometimes you just sort of need to love them as where they are. You don't have to have a conversation with them. You don't have to dialogue. You don't have to try to convince them. Sometimes just let them sit, let them stew, because I guarantee you, if she doesn't reply back to this guy and just lets him sit and she just leaves him there and she goes out and does the prospecting and she does her lives and people start commenting on that and she sees it building a big team, his whole CEO ego is probably going to be put in check relatively quick. So I love you. Jesus loves you. There's absolutely nothing to do about it. Go out and make an extreme impact on a mission to have no more empty refrigerators and create a lot of legacies. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.